Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and good morning. Today's pick a card is going to be all about the next 2 weeks and what we can expect to see going on. So I'm going to do a pick a deck. So you want to pick one of these three decks. This is number one, this is two, and this is three. And I will also pull some oracle cards that I've already shuffled for all of you. And we're just going to take a look and see of what you can expect for the next 2 weeks. So I will give you some time to meditate with these different decks so you can make a selection then. But before we jump in, I do want to remind all of you that if you want early access to these videos with 24 hours, sometimes up to a week in advance, depending on how quickly I can get things up and running that week, if you want early access to my pick a cards, I have my Patreon listed down below. And I also do Patreon exclusive videos there where I do pick a cards that you will not get anywhere else. For this month, we already have the May 2021 prediction up on Patreon, as well as a financial forecast, like what your finances are going to be looking like this month. So if you would like to support me and my channel and everything that I do, that's a really great place to go and do it. I know I already announced it in like some other videos, but I think a lot of people didn't really know what to expect because it was so new, and now I've had it for a couple of weeks and I've been uploading consistently to it. So if you'd like to check out the Patreon and support me, I would certainly appreciate it. The link is going to be down below for you. But let's go ahead and get into this. So I love doing choose a decks. I think these are so fun. It's just a really different way of doing the tarot card portion, and I'm excited to see what's going to be coming up for you in the next 2 weeks. We have Pisces, or Jupiter, going into the sign of Pisces, which I think is going to be a very fortuitous time for a lot of us coming up. I want to say it transits in on May 13th, tropical astrology, by the way. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to be bringing for us in at least the first part of that. So I'm going to go ahead and be quiet, allow you some time to meditate with these decks. This is going to be deck number one, this is number two, and this is number three. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the music up and give you some time to meditate with them. All right, pile number one, if you chose this deck, this is our, I want to say this is the Everyday Witch Tarot, which I'll link all of the decks down below if you're interested. But let's go ahead and take a look. I'm not going to spend too much time shuffling as I've already pre-shuffled this deck. So I just want to give it a little 1, 2, and a 3 pass, and then we will deal them out for the 2 weeks. So we're going to first look at the first week, which is going to be from the time that you watch this until the next 7 days. So we're going to look at the first week first. We have the Nine of Swords starting out for us. We have the Knight of Wands, the Chariot, and the King of Cups. Beautiful. Okay, so let's talk about this in terms of the next 7 days. Let me go ahead and make sure you can see these really well and that they're lined up somewhat nicely. I find that my readings sometimes get a little crooked. But let me recenter those. There we go. So I feel like first and foremost, you know what? I want to put this like this because that Nine of Swords we really did draw out first. So I feel like many of you going into this next week, when you're seeing this is you maybe have been feeling very down in the dumps, very stagnant, very unsure of what the future holds for you. The Nine of Swords to me is the card of anxiety and worry. And I don't say the word anxiety lightly. I understand that that is a very serious medical diagnosis. And I want to remind all of you that though I am a student of psychology at this time, it does not make me a licensed professional. So please keep that in mind. But I feel like many of you have been really stuck in this state of mind of like, I have all these beautiful dreams and all these beautiful things that I want to do with my life, but I have no idea how to get started, or I don't feel like I have the means to get started. And maybe you've had a lot of setback in your life recently. Like maybe with this whole partridge in a pear tree, this whole Canal Panama, the panini, you know what I'm saying? With this whole thing, many of you, I feel like maybe took a huge dive in the sense that if you were running businesses, maybe they went downhill. If you're used to being a social butterfly, maybe that has been really hard for you and you just feel like you're alone. Many of you maybe even quarantined by yourselves. And it could also have nothing to do with the panorama. But I feel that many of you have just really been in self-isolation and stuck in the intricacies of your mind, because sword energy is always about our intellect and what's going on in the brain. So I feel that many of you have been stuck there. But the good news is as we transition, especially if you're seeing this as it goes live, it doesn't matter when you see it, this is still going to be, I don't read these to be set in a certain time. They are to be timeless. But I do feel that if you are watching this when the video is new, as we have this Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces, I feel that many people that have been isolated, especially if this sounds like you, you're going to feel a new sense of adventure, because the Knight of Wands is somebody that goes after what they want. They get a reignition in feeling very passionate about life. I feel like you're going to get either an opportunity is going to come your way that's going to get you really excited. It could be like a vacation plan. It could be maybe you meet a new friend and you want to start something together. It could be a new job opportunity. Very like those of you that have been out of work, I feel like many of you over the next week, you're going to get an idea of something you want to do, or you might get a call back on a job. And I'm telling you this, pile number one, because with the Chariot, this means that you're not going to be stuck anymore. The Chariot, I've got the chills when I said this. Many of you that have felt stuck, you're not going to feel stuck anymore, and you're going to be ready to make a move. And that's because the energy that comes with the Chariot is I'm going to pack up everything I've got and get a move on. And that could be very literal for some of you. You're actually going to be like moving locations, but for some of you, this is just going to be you feeling like you have the energy to actually expend in life. You're going to feel more creative. You're going to be feeling more passionate. And this is going to come in. It's going to trickle in, I feel like, more towards the end of the next week versus right in the beginning. You still might be very in this this Nine of Swords energy at the start. But towards the end of the week, you will feel like you have a little more get up and go. And I really want to assure you, pile number one, that we have a King of Cups as the outcome for the week. Whatever decisions you're making, don't let anybody stop you. Excuse me. I feel like you might be a little bit challenged. Your girl needs some water. Hold on. Okay. I feel that with the King of Cups, those of you that have people that want to challenge the things that you're doing, which I feel like that happens a lot, especially if we live with family members or people that don't really align with what we want for ourselves. A lot of times there can be people that say like, you're not making smart decisions, or they try to like fear monger you. Remember that it's not about you. When somebody tries to put the fear in you about something like, oh, you can't, you can't move there. You can't do this thing, or you can't do that thing, because if you do that, it might not work out. Oh my goodness. Apologies. I feel like that happens sometimes when I read. My throat will like, especially as a Taurus, like I'm ruled by the throat. But when my throat does that, I feel like some of you are having a hard time speaking your truth, because that's the energy I'm getting, is like somebody else in your life this week maybe wants to, excuse me, challenge your dreams. But I really want to give you the confidence, pile number one, that you're making decisions from a good place. This is like the King of Cups is such a great energy to. Did I say King of Wands earlier? I meant to say King of Cups. I'm so sorry. We're not even into Mercury retrograde. I'm a mess. But with the King of Cups, you're making decisions from a sound place. You have the emotional stability to be where you are right now. And the King of Cups isn't somebody that makes rash decisions, even if people in your life, like I said, have been trying to put the fear in you, which I feel like when I say that, it's people that have the best intentions. They want you to be safe. But something I want to remind you of, pile number one, is if this happens to you during this week, I want to remind you that if somebody tries to give you advice about your life and what you should do, look at how they live their life. And this is not a criticism on them, but look at how they live their life. And if they live their life in a way that you hope to be living your life someday, take their advice seriously. But if they don't live their life the way that you hope to be someday, and they maybe do things that are more destructive, or they have relationships that you don't admire, it doesn't mean that they're living a bad life. This is not a criticism or a judgment towards them, but I want to remind you that you should not take advice from people that are living a life that you do not desire to have, because people will come with the best intentions for you because they think they know what's best for you. But if they're not living a life that you desire, let their advice fall on deaf ears. Like, you don't need that in order to pursue what you want. So I feel like this first week is going to be interesting, but I do feel like those of you that have been waiting to feel ready to make a move on something, this is going to be the week for that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at week 2. So the second week, we have the 5 of Cups. I feel like y'all are still going to be a little afraid, truthfully. We have the 5 of Cups. We have the Fool, but it's not going to stop you. We have the Fool. We have the 9 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hanged Man. So I feel like for you, pile number one, the 5 of Cups, don't let this person get to you. Whoever tries to come and give you advice, I don't know why this is coming through so strongly, pile number one. Do not let them get to you. Take what I'm saying seriously. I mean, if I'm not living a life that you desire, don't take my advice seriously. But with the 5 of Cups, this is about you being sorry about the things that you'll be losing by doing what you want to do. Maybe you're afraid you're going to lose connection with people. I find that even if we look at this from a psychological perspective, we think that we need people to survive. And I'm not saying that we don't need intimate connections. It's healthy and it's good for us to have those. But I promise you, if you decide to make a move that isn't in alignment with your family, and obviously be safe about this, but if you're wanting to make a move for your life that isn't in alignment with the path that they've set for you, it's okay. If they really love you, they'll come around to it. It might take some time for them, and it may never be what it was, but it's so much more rewarding for you to be your authentic self. And that is something that we always talk about on this channel. When you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And that is why we came to be here, is because we are meant to express our authentic selves and have full freedom of expression. So with this 5 of Cups, if there's any kind of even a minor setback, I don't want you to internalize this if you can avoid it, pile number one. This is not something that is going to be detrimental to your path ahead during this second week. Going into the Fool's energy, this is a good thing. This is you taking a risk. This is you getting outside of your comfort zone. And that is how real growth starts to happen. How you start to actually change your path is by taking risks and doing things that scare you a little bit. And obviously do that within reason, but moving from the Fool into a 9 of Wands, I feel like many of you fear that the persecution is going to be coming. Whatever is going on, pile number one, with you, you fear that persecution is coming. And maybe this also goes back to that original Nine of Swords. You're afraid of what other people will say and what other people will think of you. And ultimately, you might be met with that. You might be met with your worst fear. But ultimately, even if that happens, even if you're met with more persecution than you could ever imagine, it would only be there to remind you that you can still thrive beyond that. You can still thrive beyond that. You can still carry on beyond that, and you will, no matter what happens. Even if it's not an army of people against you and it's just one person that really puts you down. I don't know why this energy is coming through so strong, but it is. Because we end up with a Three of Wands, which is you still going off on your own anyway, doing what you need to do for you, doing what you feel is best for you. Something, pile number one, within the next 2 weeks is going to be set in motion. And you're going to start to see a return on it immediately. Because within that 2-week period, the Three of Wands is about waiting on your returns because you've already set something in motion to happen. So something is going to be granted in the next 2 weeks. And with the Hanged Man here on the side, I want to remind all of you that you're not stuck. You don't have to remain stuck. You might have to pause for a time and take breaks periodically, but you don't have to stay here. Usually you're only here because you need a little more time to process what's happening. And let's go ahead and take a look at your oracle cards. So for you, pile number one, we have creativity. And we also have passion. I'm trying to decide where I want to put this. We're going to scoot this up here. We're going to put passion over here. So again, oh my gosh, look at that. We also have master numbers. We have number 33 and number 11. And if you don't know about master numbers, basically master numbers are numbers that you don't condense in numerology. So normally if this was not a master number, you would add 1 + 1, which gives us 2, or 3 + 3, which gives us 6. You condense it down to the lowest number. However, 11, 33, 22, those are numbers that you do not condense because they are master numbers. And that means that they usually have a lot more wisdom. And I feel like you, pile number one, are somebody that is wise beyond your years. You've always been like 12 going on 60, which you're probably not 12, and I hope you're not 12 because I don't make my videos for kids. But I feel that, maybe you were always that 13 going on 30, you were always a little bit beyond your years and things. And you might even find that you're a life path 11 or a life path 33. Definitely check on your life path number and see if one of those corresponds to you. But what Spirit is really conveying over the next 2 weeks is you are going to get a boost in creativity and want to make some new things. And creativity doesn't mean you have to be like somebody who paints or draws. I feel like that's a very like stereotypical way of looking at creativity, which if you do paint and draw, that's awesome. Keep doing that. But this could be photography. This could be in room redecorating or rearranging. There's so many intricate ways to express your creativity. And I feel like this is when that's finally going to start coming back to you. Pisces, as we have Jupiter going back into Pisces, Pisces is an extremely creative sign. I would argue that it is one of the most creative because they're so dreamy and they're about making those dreams come into reality. So it's going to be a very fruitful time for creatives, and you're going to get that passion back. I also feel like some of you, this might even be the passion in a relationship that's been missing. Some of you might get that back, or you may even be starting new relationships in the next couple weeks. We also have for you the answers you need are coming with the full moon in Gemini, which is interesting because we won't have a full moon in Gemini coming up. We will have a full moon in Sagittarius, but we'll have a new moon in Gemini coming up, which this video technically in 28 days, because if you're watching this, not early access on Patreon, but you're watching it on YouTube, the Taurus new moon is happening the day that this video goes up on YouTube live. So with the Taurus new moon, we'll have a month basically, and then we'll be in the Gemini new moon. So pay attention. to the times when the moon is in Gemini. I use an app for this that's free. You can buy the paid version, but you don't have to. But the app, it's just called Moon. It will actually tell you what signs the moon is in during the month. And even when the moon goes into Gemini, which will happen right after the moon is in Taurus, even when the moon goes into Gemini, that might be a time where you receive extra downloads. You might also be a Gemini placement, sun, moon, or rising, and you'll be receiving extra downloads about what your next step is, what your next goal is, what your next move is. And we also have for you, the energy is gaining momentum with the waxing moon. So I also feel like, again, this is you getting you're getting reignited for life. And I'm really excited for you because I know what that feels like to live in that Nine of Swords and be there for months. It's not fun. It sucks. It's painful. And I feel like for many of you, you're going to be coming out of that. And the last card I have for you, pile number 1, is the Outlaw. I hope you can see this well. I feel like some of these cards with the foiling are kind of difficult, but hopefully with like the new lighting setup and stuff, it's a little easier to see them. But pile number 1, my heart really goes out to you because, and this isn't a bad thing, but the Outlaw, this is a card that I get for myself a lot when I read for myself on occasion. And to me, this is like the black sheep of the family card. This is the you want to do things differently card. And you don't want to be like anyone else. You want to beat to a totally different drum in life. You don't want to do the traditional things that maybe your family has set out for you or mentors. You want to be different. And Spirit is urging you and pushing you and whispering to you in the still moments that it's safe for you to be who you are. You don't need to take anyone with you. Don't get me wrong. You can have relationships and good friends and good romances. And if you desire those things for yourself, then you're allowed to have them. But you don't need anyone on this path. This to me is like the lone wolf card. If you do not desire that and you want to go off and do your own thing, it is more than acceptable for you to do that. And you don't need anyone's permission, not mine, not your family's. You just need to give yourself the permission. And I feel like over these next 2 weeks, pile number 1, that is what you're going to start realizing about yourself, is that the mental constraints that have been on you, you're going to start to unravel those and realize how they're not true and that you're allowed to go and do more. To me, I'm hearing the word freedom. You're going to be becoming more free. And I'm excited for you, honestly. I think this is such a beautiful reading, and I'm so excited to hear what happens over the next 2 weeks. And let me know if you're excited about this Jupiter Pisces transit, because I really am. It happens the day before my birthday this week, and I'm so freaking stoked. So thank you so much for tuning in, pile number 1. Please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my Patreon, which is linked down below, to have early access to readings and also exclusive readings that you can't find anywhere else. So definitely check that out. If you would also like to, it is never an expectation, but always, always appreciated by me. And this community. I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. I do accept tips for my readings. I always pour them back into the channel, and we buy new decks for the channel. We upgrade camera equipment sometimes when we're able to. We upgrade lighting like we have. So thank you to all of those of you that have supported the channel. Again, it's never something I expect from you, but I always appreciate it. All of the decks that we've used today are linked down below, as well as my podcast, my Instagram, my TikTok, all the places around the web that you maybe would like more content in your life. Today, if you're watching this again on YouTube, on Instagram, the new moon horoscopes went out on my Instagram with like basically for your sign. There's a tarot card and a message for you. So definitely check out my Instagram. And that is all I have for you, my beautiful friends. And I will speak to you all again soon. My beautiful pumpkin patch. I love you so much. Bye. Hello there, my beautiful pile number 2, and welcome to this pick a card reading. This is going to be what is going on over the next 2 weeks for you. We're going to start with some tarot cards and then we'll get into your oracle cards. So let's go ahead and take a little look-see. I am going to give this a brief shuffle. I have already pre-shuffled these cards, so I'm not too worried about spending a lot of time doing this, but I do just want to give it a really quick little doot-doots here. And then we're just going to go ahead and see. Oh, okay. What we have, we're going to look at the first week first. So from now until the next week, we're going to take a look first. So we have the Page of Pentacles reversed. We have the Two of Swords reversed. We have the Six of Swords upright. And the Lovers upright. Okay. Let me just go ahead and straighten these out a little bit for us. I feel like I'm always guilty of having slightly crooked readings because of the type of tripod I have for my camera, which hopefully we'll be able to upgrade eventually. But let me go ahead and just refocus these so we can see them really well. All right. So for this first week, pile number 1, this is so weird. I don't usually read reversals. Like I can, and I do when they come up, but I do not shuffle reversals into my deck intentionally. So when they come up, it's always like, how did that happen? Like I didn't do that. So that's interesting. But over this first week, pile number 1, I do feel that many of you are maybe feeling like, because I mean, the Page of Pentacles is usually like the spark of a new idea and starting to plant new seeds. And I feel like in the beginning of this week, many of you have been really hesitant to do that. You've been really hesitant to plant new seeds on your life, to set new intentions for your life or make decisions. And I'm not really sure what it's about, pile number 2, because I don't know if it's like a fear, like there could be some fear that you're going to like make the wrong choice, or that you're going to like, or maybe there's just like too much information that you're unsure about. Like there's too much up in the air. I'm getting a very confused energy and I know it's not mine. So that's the thing with being an intuitive tarot reader, is a lot of times I'll pick up on your energy and I'm like, oh, where's that coming from? But I feel like many of you are a little bit confused in the beginning of this week. Like maybe somebody is being very like standoffish with you, and that is causing you to feel like, what am I supposed to do? I feel like this might be about a relationship for some reason. And I say that actually for 2 reasons. Number 1, because we have the Lovers present. And number 2, this deck that I'm reading with, which I will link down below for you, this is what I call my like brutal, honest relationship deck. I don't read with it very often, but it's a deck that's just the energy. Different tarot decks have different energies, and the energy of this deck, I use it for relationships on purpose. I feel like it often, just because of the artistry of it too, it gives a lot of information on relationships. And so with this deck and what I'm seeing, I feel, did like somebody not return your call, or is somebody trying to like ghost you? What is going on, pile number 2? Because I am getting major confusion with someone else. And I feel like many of you don't know where you stand with someone. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could also be that you're just feeling very confused about like a friendship too, or a family member. But I feel like someone in you're very confused about what's going on. They're not responding to you, or you don't know how to respond to them. There is confusion in the beginning of the week. Going into the middle of the week, I feel like there is going to be some activation. And I say that because with the Six of Swords, especially this Six of Swords, it looks like maybe there is like an argument that needs to be had in the middle of the week. And I don't think this is going to be a bad thing. I think oftentimes we look at arguments and we're like, oh my God, I don't want to fight with people. Or maybe you want to fight every bitch. I don't know. I don't know what your energy is. Immediately when I said that, I heard I will fight anyone. So some of y'all, maybe you do like to argue. Maybe that's fun for you. But I feel like there might be some arguing coming up in the middle of the week, but it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because I think there is some internal frustration that hasn't come to the surface yet for you with this other person. And whatever is coming up, it needs to come up. Because with the lovers at the end of the week, I feel like you're going to kiss and make up real quick. If this is you and a romantic partner, like you're going to kiss and make up real fast. And I feel like whatever gets said, like there's going to be new boundaries put in place. There might be a little more mutual respect happening because I feel like either you haven't made your expectations known to this person or they haven't made their expectations known to you. And so there's just this like disconnect and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? So I feel like by the end of the week, if y'all have been experiencing this, this is going to clear up by the end of the week, which I love that for you. Nobody likes to sit and be confused by somebody else's actions. So ultimately, I feel like you're going to start the week a little confused, maybe have a little upset in the middle, and then at the end of the week, things are going to be looking good. Now, I do want to tell y'all, some of you, not all of you, some of you, don't how do I put this? I feel like I have to be kind of blunt. Don't let fuck boy, fuck girl energy back into your life. You know if this person has your best interest at heart and if they don't. And I feel like for some of you, you know if it's not worth it. And you know what you deserve. So for some of you, yeah, you're going to kiss and make up and it's going to be all good. But for some of you, like, don't take any less than you deserve. If you're in the middle of an argument, do not just back down. You know, say what you need to say and demand the respect that you deserve. So just going to throw it out there for some of y'all. If you're with somebody that is like not understanding where you're coming from, I'm not saying you have to make them understand because you can't make anybody do anything, but hold your ground on that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at week number 2. So we have for you the reversed Temperance, the 3 of Pentacles, the King of Cups, and the Hermit. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Empress, which I'm going to put this up here. Okay. This is a lot. This is a lot, pile number 2. I am getting so many different messages. So the start of your second week, don't share everything. Hear me out. I feel like there's a friend that you really want to confide in at the start of next, like a week from now. This friend, maybe not a good idea. And I say that because it's reversed Temperance. And we have these like 2 women at a bar. They look like they're enjoying a conversation. I think one of them is a bartender, but like they're spilling tea with each other. And so when we have this in reverse, do not trust everybody in your circle. I feel like there is somebody that maybe even wants to come between you and someone else. Like something shady about this, and I don't like it for you. Something is shady. Somebody is trying to come between y'all, and they're just like, yeah, keep telling me. Like, let me pour you another glass. You know, loose lips sink ships. And they just want to get more information out of you. So be careful with that. Be careful who you confide in. Now, I don't say close everybody out, because middle of next week, I actually feel that there's going to be really good support coming in for you, because the 3 of Pentacles tells us that you do have people around you that want to support you, that want to be there for you, that want to help you move past this situation. Or, you know, maybe you just need another perspective on what's going on. And there are people that love you, want to be there for you, and want to support you. And with this 3 of Pentacles, I feel like this is a group of friends that maybe you have put aside for a romantic relationship. I don't know why romance is coming in so big right now, but it is. Y'all know me. We don't do a lot of romance readings on this channel, but I think that's where this one is. So with this 3 of Pentacles, though, I feel like these friends are still willing to be there for you. And just because maybe you took a step back, you can make amends with these people. They still care about you. And with the King of Cups coming in midweek as well, This to me either represents a figure for you, like it could be a new romantic interest that actually wants to treat you better, or this could be you, excuse me, also standing up in your own King of Cups energy. Because the King of Cups is someone, and also many of you that chose this pile that you don't feel like this romantic situation is about you, head over to pile number 1 because I feel like these piles could be linked in that regard. But the King of Cups, this is somebody that makes really sound decisions. They make very sound decisions. They're emotionally mature, and they're also like, they can be more on the romantic side, but they're like mature romantic. I don't know how to explain that. It's like if I was going to date somebody now, which I wouldn't, I'm a married lady and I'm happy in that relationship. But if I was going to, I would be looking for a King of Cups energy. I would be looking for somebody that is like we always make that joke on TikTok. It's like, if I were going to date somebody now, I want to see the receipts from their therapist office. I want to know how they're working on themselves. And that really is that's the tea. Like, this is somebody that is very mature. This could be somebody that maybe you're going to go to for advice. I don't think it is this original person. I feel like this is somebody else, or you becoming this person for yourself. You are like leveling up. And at the end of the week, you know what's so interesting, pile number 2? This is weird. Like I said, I don't ever really get readings like this, but it's so crazy when it happens. I don't know how well this is picking up on camera, but if you'll notice, there's a girl spying on these two lovers. There's a girl spying on this person. And then we've got this shady person over here. I'm just saying, there's somebody watching this situation unfold. And it's somebody that's maybe in your corner that you really shouldn't trust. Some of you might also find out this week that your suspicions of somebody cheating on you are true. And I hate to be that person that's like the bearer of bad news, but I also feel like this could be you. And maybe you're very suspicious of your partner. And I feel like this could be the week that that kind of really unfolds and you get some new information. And at the end of the week, I feel that many of you are going to need to be doing some deep introspective work and seeing where you're at and how you're feeling. Like, cancel your plans for next weekend and give yourself some time to just be with you, because the Hermit card is not just about like hermiting it up and being by yourself. It's also a card that really is about you gaining like intuitive introspection, sitting with yourself, and like your intuition is heightened. You're getting more knowledge like from the spiritual aspects. And I feel like many of you, that's what you're going to need at the end of this 2 weeks. But I also feel like in that there will be gifts, because with the Empress, this to me is you coming out on top. This is you. This is you putting life back into yourself. Because this Empress is like holding her stomach, like right under her rib cage. And that is where our personal power sits. That is where our solar plexus is. And she's holding the light in her hand up here. I feel like this is you giving that energy back to yourself and realizing you don't need it from someone else. Now, those of you that are in like happy, committed relationships, I don't feel like this is all the same for you. I don't feel like your partner is automatically going to be cheating on you and like all this stuff is happening. For some of you, you might just be having outs with your partner right now. And by the end of the week, I think things are going to make a lot more sense, because especially those of you that are with a partner that's maybe you have been like wanting to get pregnant with them or what have you. Maybe things have been off because one of y'all is pregnant. And I'm saying that because the Empress is a card that does talk about fertility and pregnancy. Now, that doesn't mean every single one of you is going to be pregnant, so don't worry. But those of you that have been wanting that, things might be a little off because your hormones are off the charts, or your partner's hormones are off the charts. And so everything feels really crazy right now. But like go get your pregnancy tests, okay? Like see if that is what is happening, because I feel like that is a very specific message for some of you. But basically just over the next couple of weeks, I do feel like there's going to be some like push and pull in the relationship dynamic. And I do feel like though by the end of the week, I feel like a lot more of it is going to be made very clear, because I feel like a lot of this like is very mysterious energy. I mean, even though we have Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces, we have to remember that Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune brings with it a fog. It brings with it us not always seeing things as clearly as we should. So, know that that might be the energy that we're ruminating in. So I'm going to go ahead and look at your oracle cards now. We have for you wisdom, and we have for you organization. So with wisdom also coming out with a number 7, 7 is the karmic number. 7 is the number of relationships. Relationships run, I don't know if you know this, relationships actually run in 7-year cycles. Like every 7 years, you start a new cycle with your partner or with a different partner. This is the same with houses, with jobs, with like 7 is the karmic number. And I can even attest to that in my own life. Like I have seen in my own relationship with my spouse, we're coming up on 14 years together next year. And we've run like 2 full karmic cycles together. And does that mean that we have a karmic tie together? Not necessarily, but you can see where the evolution of your relationship, of your home, of your career, where those things change. Usually at the 7-year mark, you're like, oh my God, look at how much has churned over. And now we're starting new somewhere else or doing something different. Recently, to give you an example, this year I think I've said it in a couple of readings. My husband and I are planning to move, like a big move across states within the next year. And I realized that this was our 7th year in this house that we're in. We've lived here for quite a while, and 7, like I said, is the karmic number. Like it's of course we're now starting over at a year 1 where we're ready to birth something new. We're ready to go somewhere else. Now that's not always true. Some people buy homes and they stay in them for 21 years. They do 3 cycles or their whole life. It doesn't always mean that you're going to move, but I do feel like there is kind of a rebirthing of energy every 7 years. So I do feel like for you, that could be another thing. Maybe you're on like a 7th year, but ultimately, because it is that number as well, you gain wisdom from it too. You can see how much growth has happened. And it's oftentimes about renewal, which is funny because it even says, let wisdom come and be renewed. I didn't even read that before I laid it down, but interesting that that would all come up together. Now with organization, this says purpose, planning, efficiency now come to me so easily. I feel like because of the energy that I see you in the beginning of those 2 weeks, and maybe feeling like you don't really have everything figured out, things are like really confusing, really murky. I do feel like by the end of these 2 weeks, you are going to feel a little bit more organized in your relationships, in your home. I feel like that's a blessing coming to you from this transit that we're moving into. Is if things have felt really chaotic, that's like after these 2 weeks, I do feel like you'll kind of have a better grip on things. Because I do feel like at first it's a bit confusing. And then we also have for you, look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius, which next month we will have a full moon in Sagittarius. So between now and next month, if I do another like 2-week reading, make sure that you listen to that one, because that'll be like the look at your entire month, which I may do. Let me know down below if y'all want that. But look at the bigger picture. I feel like there's more that meets the eye. And that's kind of what I've gotten for this whole message, is that there's more there's more to the story that we're not seeing. And this could be, I mean, like I said, so many messages have come through in this one that this could mean so many things. But look at the bigger picture, whether it's moving on from a partner that isn't serving us and we're not serving them, in like, it's not for the good of everyone, or moving in a new direction with a partner, be it pregnancy, as we talked about, or moving in a new direction with self. Zoom out and ask yourself what that looks like down the road. And we also have your hard work is paying off with the new moon in Capricorn. So you also might be a Sagittarius or a Capricorn, or they could be as well, sun, moon, or rising. But with your hard work, it's paying off. This to me is really about the work you've done with yourself. And that to me is what these next 2 weeks are also about, is you getting more and more and more aware of your choices, your life, where it's going. And if there is any upsets over the next 2 weeks, it's to bring you to that level of awareness. And your hard work in that is paying off. You're going to be, I mean, we love new moon energy. It's new, it's fun, it's exciting, it can be anything. So pay attention to that. And then lastly, for you, we have the card of self-love. And I love this card because it's all about that. It's about giving back to yourself. Just as I said with this Empress card, with our Hermit card down below, it's all about giving back to yourself. It's all about coming back and saying, how can I be the person I want to be? What changes could I make that would allow me to live in alignment with the person that I am? I feel like if you chose this pile, I feel like over the next few weeks, you're going to be becoming more consciously aware of yourself. And many of you maybe are already there, but you're going to be hitting a new level of consciousness. And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. It can be really scary, especially if you feel like you're not ready. But ultimately, especially because we're ending on a hermit as well, you're going to be getting something new internally. Like things that used to bother you, I feel like you're going to see them from a new perspective and you're not going to feel as bothered anymore. And like I said, I know this reading was a little confusing. I'm sorry that it was everywhere. There was so much coming in with this one. I should read with this deck more. Let me know down below if y'all would like an actual like relationship pick a card. I don't do them very often because I feel like for me, I'm not like, this is no shade on any other readers. I think if that's what you feel called to do, that's what you should do. But because I am somebody that specializes in psychology and spirituality, I'm always trying to bring the awareness back to self and not make it about everybody else. And not with me, but like make it about you, meaning not. And I feel like not every week is everybody meeting their soulmate, you know? And I do feel like when we learn to be more self-aware and give ourselves the love that we deserve and what we desire, it allows us to attract those relationships that we desire or that we want. And so I tend to really work more with individuals on the self versus you and another. And that doesn't mean that I'm incapable. It just, I feel like it's something I don't focus on. So let me know though if y'all would like a relationship pick a card, because I feel like relationships are so messy and so complicated, clearly, from this reading. But I look forward to hearing how it goes. Ultimately, I think no matter what, it's going to be something that is for your benefits. And I love you all so, so much. Please do not forget, my Patreon is linked down below for you. If you would like to tip me for my readings, my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal are also listed. Never an expectation, but always appreciated. And I have my Instagram where there are new moon horoscopes out today. So if you want to check those out for your sign, they should all be up now for you. You also get early access to those on the Patreon. Like they've been up all month on the Patreon. And then I also have my podcast, all kinds of fun stuff down below. So definitely check out everything out. And I love you all so much, pile number 2. Best of luck over the next 2 weeks. And I will speak to you all again soon. Bye, my pumpkins. Remember, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to this beautiful pick a card reading. So if you chose this deck, you would have chose the Gentle Heart Tarot deck. So we're going to start with your tarot for the next 2 weeks, and then we're going to look at the oracle cards. Now, I did already pre-shuffle this deck, but I just want to give it a quick little once over before we deal out the cards. Oh, we got a little mess up in there. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and see what we have for you. So we're going to look at the first week and then we'll look at the second week. So first week we have Death. We have for you the Four of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and the Hermit. Interesting. Pile number 2 had the Hermit too. So we'll put this down and go ahead and just scoop these over and reposition the camera to make sure you can see the cards very well. There we go. All right. So, what I feel for you over the next week, looking at the first week, pile number 3, is I do feel like change is on the precipice. And I feel like it's inevitable. Like, whatever you've been doing over the last little while, it's time for change. And this might be like, I feel like something is going to be lost, but something is going to be gained in the process. And I say that because death talks about a death and a rebirth. So we lose something. Something has to die so that we can move forward. Now, this doesn't mean a person. I don't want you to be freaking out like you're going to actually lose a physical person. This usually has more to do with you. And that's usually how I read tarot as well, is more to do with you and your inner workings. So with the death card, I do feel that there could be like, it could be that it's a job loss. It could be that it's a creative endeavor loss. It could be that it's like the loss of a friendship, or, it's something that meant something to us at one time. And the reason that this has to go is you haven't been allowing yourself to rest. Whatever this is, it has not created peace for you. And I feel like you've maybe already known for a while. This isn't like new information. If I'm talking to you about this right now and you chose this pile and it's resonating with you, there's something that you already know hasn't been giving you peace. And that's desperately what your soul is craving. And I say that because immediately after this, when we start the rebirth process and we let go of what isn't serving us, we have the Four of Swords, which is a deep card of rest. This is a card that says it's time for you to take some downtime for yourself. So I do feel like you'll be getting some deep rest this week. And it's good. It's good that you get this rest because you're going to be replenished with new ideas on how to move forward in life. And so by the middle of the week, you should have a new idea and a new direction of where you want to go already. This isn't something that's going to be long and drawn out and super painful. I feel like you're going to get rest. Like, if we're looking at this like Tuesday through next Monday, I feel like it's like today, Tuesday, maybe a little bit of Wednesday. But then when Thursday rolls around, we're getting this deep replenishing rest. Coming into like Friday, Saturday, we have possibly a little into Sunday, we have these like new ideas that are coming to us because we've allowed ourselves the time to conceptualize new ideas. And then we end up next Monday, possibly a little bit of Sunday as well, in the Hermit, which is us receiving new downloads, us taking time out to do the self-introspection so that we can come across the new ideas. So ultimately, even though it kind of might start with a bang, I don't feel like it's not a tower. This is something that I want to make very clear. When we have the Death card and it's not in combination with the Tower for you, this isn't something that hits you really hard and then all of a sudden what you had is just gone. This is something that you've already known has needed to go for a while. And now it's time that you actually make the space to push it out so you can start over or start anew or start with new inspiration. This isn't something that is just going to come out of the blue and punch you in the gut, which I think is a lot of times what people think the Death card represents, which it can be that sometimes. But given that this is happening in the realm of a week, and we see the ups and the downs of that, I feel ultimately that this isn't something that's going to be so chaotic and drawn out for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at the second week. So we have the Queen of Diamonds. We have for you the Seven of Crystals. We have for you the Queen of Cups. Ooh, 2 queens in the same week. We love that energy. And the Knight of Swords. Okay. My entrepreneur babies, if you chose this pile, we're also going to look at the bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck is Page of Diamonds. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So Queen of Diamonds, this is about you having a successful endeavor. Whatever it is, a new career, especially if this is about your money. This is about you having a new successful endeavor. So many of you might be starting new careers or starting work on a new idea that you've had next week. and actually putting in the work towards it, because the Queen of Diamonds is all about like self-care, self-love, but also getting work done at the same time. It's having balance with both. It's working and playing. And the Queen of Diamonds is one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. I feel like if I could choose one deck that represented me as a person, I would choose the Queen of Diamonds or the High Priestess. But if we're going with the minor arcana, I would choose the Queen of Diamonds, which is also known as the Queen of Pentacles. So this to me is a favorable card. I love seeing this card. I love this bitch in my deck. She's fabulous. She is all about like serving herself and serving others, and doing so in a way that doesn't deplete her energy or her magic. So being in a Queen of Pentacles energy, this is maybe where you've wanted to be, and you're finally starting to get a taste of what that looks like or what it could look like. And with the Seven of Crystals, I do feel that mid next week, there might be a little bit of pushback on this. Like, I feel like it's all about you though, meaning I don't even think anybody is going to be so against you. I think it's going to be you fighting with your own mind of whether, can I keep this up? Can I do this? Can I have this endeavor? Can I keep up with myself and others, or am I going to overwork and dig myself into the ground again? I feel like there might be some like mental battle going on, but ultimately we come into also mid next week, the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is somebody who is divinely intuitive. They derive a lot of their internal power from their intuition versus trying to force and make things happen. They're a lot more in the state of flow, being in their divine feminine energy, allowing their psychic abilities to be harvested, and really moving from a place of they are making the moves. It's not them trying to force something to happen or beg for something to happen. It's you making your own moves by allowing stillness. And I feel like many of you, this is the energy you've been wanting to gravitate towards. And right when we have this Jupiter transit happening, you're going to start to actually see it pay off. You're going to start to see this energy culminate for you. And I feel like many of you, this is maybe the thing you've been wishing for a long time. Like, I feel like for you, pile number 3, over the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a long-term wish that you're going to see start to fulfill. And you maybe have had to struggle for a long time for this to happen, but it's finally going to start. Like I feel like you're almost going to not believe it. You're gonna be like, oh my God, is this like really my life? Like literally 1 week, things were going so backwards and I had to like do all this stuff and cut these things off. And now I feel like this is exactly where I was supposed to be. So I feel like for many of you, pile number 3, you're going to be experiencing what you've wanted your life to be like for a long time. And I like want to cry because I'm just so happy for you. Like that's such a beautiful, especially if you've had to struggle, because your guides are tired of watching you struggle. They want to see you win, and it's time for you to win. And the Knight of Swords says, from this place of this like beautiful energy that's being given to you, that you're feeling, you're going to feel like you're ready to take action on things. The Knight of Swords is charging forth with a new bright idea and actually making it work for you. And I feel like this has more to do with you. It could be something creative, but it also could be you just have a new idea of how you want to present yourself to the world. And when I say world, that doesn't mean you have to like be up on a stage or on the news or something. It could be literally just in your community or to your family. I feel like you're finally feeling like your authentic self. You're finally feeling like you're ready to move in a way that honors the person that you are inside. And you're ready to just start giving yourself the ability to speak and be who you want to be. And I feel like for many of you, you have felt really trapped, like you couldn't do that. Like there was no way out, like somebody else was controlling your finances or your housing or something that was over your head that made you feel like you couldn't do these things. And you're finally getting to a place where it's not that way. And you're like, wow, I actually can do these things. This is my dream materialized. And with a Page of Diamonds, some of you also might be getting some unexpected money coming in. The Page of Diamonds to me is about creating wealth in even if it's like you just have an idea that you need to run with, we have cards that really do depict wealth for you over the next 2 weeks. And so if you've been really stressed out about your finances, especially if you've just lost a job recently, Spirit is saying you don't need to worry about this anymore. You don't need to worry about your finances. You're going to find a way through this, and money is going to come your way because of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at your oracle cards. We have for you Justice. And let me push this up just a little bit more. We have for you the card of Success. So I also feel like many of you are going to be receiving like vindication or justice for something. Maybe you feel like you have kind of been like ousted somewhere, or it also could be that like you feel like you've been let down, or you've let yourself down in some way, or somebody else let you down, or you felt really discouraged from something. I feel like somebody that has messed with you is going to be getting their karmic justice. And you're not the kind of person who's going to like ruminate in that and be like, "Oh, I told you so." I feel like you can't be choosing this gentle heart tarot and be that kind of person. I feel like you wouldn't even gravitate towards this deck because it's so gentle. But I feel like you're the kind of person that like, it will feel like a good like karmic retribution, but you're not going to be the person that's going to go rub it in their face. And I feel like it's just going to feel good knowing that you've been like vindicated from something. And then we have Success. Again, I think this just reiterates what we've already talked about, how you're like, I really do feel pile number 3. If you chose this pile, there is a dream that is coming into reality for you. This Jupiter transit is going to be huge for you. Some of you might even be Pisces Jupiter people, and you're going to be going through a Jupiter return. Jupiter returns are huge. They always bring with them favoritism, fortune. I've been through at least one, and it was a magical time in my life. Let me just tell you, a Jupiter return is it. So look to your birth charts and see if you have Pisces Jupiter. But many of you, I feel like, are going to be gaining that success, that recognition, what you've been looking for. You're going to be vindicated from something. Maybe somebody had like a past hurt on you that made you feel like you couldn't keep doing something, especially if you're a creative, a content creator, somebody that wants to make something, and you felt like maybe you've never had the recognition that you've wanted from it. This is the vindication that's coming. And you will see success in what you're doing over the next 2 weeks. You're going to see almost an immediate turnover. So I'm excited. We also have for you confidence is your key to success with the new moon in Leo, and prosperity lies ahead with new moon in Taurus. So when this video goes live on YouTube, which Patreon gets it first, so you get this before the new moon if you're on Patreon watching this. But if you're on YouTube watching this, the day that this goes live, it is the new moon in Taurus in tropical astrology. New moon in Taurus. So this is going to be very amplified energy for you. You also might be a Leo or a Taurus, or in like people that are around you are Leo, Taurus, or sun, moon, rising. Like always look sun, moon, rising for Leo or Taurus. If many of you have been struggling financially, you're not going to be struggling. Like that I can say for sure. And with confidence is your key to success, just own it. You know, I feel like I've said this before as well. When we receive something that we've wanted for a long time, a lot of times we'll get scared. We'll get scared and think, "Oh my God, I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to screw it up, or it's going to go away." You're waiting for the other shoe to drop because that's what you've been used to. It's not like that this time. It's not like that this time, and you can relax in knowing that good things are allowed to happen to you. You're allowed to have the things that you desire. And it's okay to make room to receive and to just allow. Let yourself be confident in knowing these things are for you. All right? I feel like I've wanted to cry more with this pile than probably any of the others, because it just, I feel how hard it's been for you. I feel how hard it's been for you, and you don't have to stay there. It can be different now. And your last card, pile number 3, we have withdraw. And I feel like for many of you, when this change happens over the next 2 weeks, you might feel like you want to withdraw from everyone. Like you don't know who you would even want to talk about it with because maybe you're not used to being celebrated. You're not used to letting people see you be successful because you didn't think it was going to happen for you. And I feel like it's okay to do that for a time. It's okay for you to withdraw and want to ruminate on that success by yourself. But know that the right people that want to celebrate your success are there for you too. And they might be a Leo or a Taurus. It's okay for you to share with people that you trust. But it's also okay for you to keep those wins to yourself for a little while until you're ready to share. Don't feel like you have to share right away. And that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I hope this reading was helpful to you. Please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I have my Patreon listed down below, which we should have an early access reading up later this week. Patreon gets my readings first. We'll also have a Patreon exclusive going up most likely today, the day that this video goes up. And when you sign up for my Patreon, you get access to all of the readings that are Patreon exclusive. So like anything that's been done, you get access to those if you are at the Cosmic Pumpkin tier. So we have the May predictions up over there. We have a financial forecast up over there that's an exclusive. And even if you sign up, no matter what tier, you do get something that you don't get anywhere else. So definitely check it out. If you would like to tip me for my readings, I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below. It is never an expectation, but always appreciated. And of course, I link all of the decks that I use down below if you want to grab those for yourself. And my podcast, my Instagram, which on Instagram, all of the new moon, the like new moon zodiac predictions went up today. So if you would like to take a look at that, check out my Instagram. Like I said, all of those are up now today, but if you're a patron, you get them early. And my TikTok's listed down below, podcast, all that fun stuff. And I love you so much, pile number 3. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye.